Well, welcome back to the channel. We are onto a whole new project. We are going to be putting in our well pump. It's a two-part process for our water system. We have to get the well pump in and do the electrical from the well pump. Once that's dropped to the cistern, and then underneath the house is from the cistern to the actual pressure tank and all that. So that's the second phase. This is the first phase. This is going to be digging in all the conduit that we need to put in and putting in our electrical boxes and capacitors and all that stuff, and then connecting to our meter box. And so we're going to get started with that. We got the little tiny tractor this time so we can dig our trench, and we've also got to put in a one-way valve that I forgot to stick in. So we'll get busy with that. We'll get this thing unloaded, and then we'll start digging.
Blue dude, blue moon, kinda mysterious, shaded with someone I'm not really into. Do you need to fix it?
All right, there we go. All our pipe laid out. We'll start getting all this connected, and then the second part of this, once I get all this in, I'm going to backfill over this so I can return the tractor. But right here where the cistern's at, I have some junction boxes and some other things I need to mount and do some things with, and that's not going to happen today, so I'll just leave that open and come back to that. But we'll get this done today so we can return the tractor at least.
It's hard to see you when your eyes look dull. Who's gonna save you? Who's gonna make you not blue? Not blue. Blue dude.
One of the first things we have to do before we step outside to get in that hole I dug yesterday is I got to put in this one-way valve, and the way to tell which direction is got this little arrow right there that tells you that the water flows this way. But we have to prep it. We've got an 1.25 inch line, and we got to get our 1.25 inch male ends on this. And with that, what I'm using is thread compound on there to seal it instead of Teflon tape. I think it works a little bit better all the way around. All right, we've got this prepped. Now we'll go get this worked in the hole. All right, well, we got our one-way valve in there. That was a big one. That was something we learned when we put in the septic system, that we needed that, because what happens is the water table fills up, it goes in, but we would end up pumping from the well into the cistern, and because there was a two-way flow, it would just flow back out of the cistern. So we put this in to stop the water flow and keep the flow in the cistern. All right, so we got that filled in. Now it's time to trench. There you have it. We have all of our electrical trenched all the way to the well and all the way here to the house, to the breaker box. Have a little clean out with the shovel, but we are ready to start putting in pipe. And I think as I'm putting in the pipe, I'm gonna install the pull ropes as well, just so it makes it faster, just like we did with the electrical. So we'll start moving the pipe around. So one thing we have is, when it comes to the well, is we've got the control box, which is going to have the red, yellow, and blue, black wires from the power from the pump. Will connect into these three here, and then on line 1 and line 2 for the 30 amp, I'm going to run 10 2-wire from the breaker box that'll connect to here, and that'll supply power to the well. However, in the system, we have 2 separate floats, and we have to be able to control the float. So we're doing it with this 30 amp capacitor. But I didn't want to try and put it into the conduit, because who knows what will happen with this getting wet. So I bought this separate enclosure, and we're going to mount this inside of here so that we can connect our floats and our main power lines to this. Because what will happen is we'll run from the red, yellow, and black wire on here to the lower end of this capacitor here, and then run an out here that'll go all the way to the well pump. So we're going to get moving here. We're going to modify these boxes up so we can get them mounted out there and ready for wire. So the cistern, once we get out there, it has a 4-inch hole in the top of the cistern, and right now it's covered with dirt, so I got to uncover it. But in order to make that work, I got this it's a 4-inch slip piece that'll go in there. We'll use a junction box on the top of this to connect our lines and to run our floats from the top of this to the control box. And then we've got 8 feet of pipe that we're going to be attaching our floats to. And the floats themselves are these Pump Master floats. We got 30 foot of cable with these. We're going to put one lower, one high. And what those will do is those will act like, when the floats are on the pipe, when both of them are up, that means the pump will be engaged, and it'll fill or shut off the pump. When one's down, it'll continue to fill, and then once both of them go down, it'll shut the pump off. It'll keep the pump from burning out. And there's a whole thing with the pumps themselves and the piece that we need, the contactor that we need. I'm not going to go into a big explanation on that because I'm no expert. I understand enough that I need to know how to hook it up, and I'll kind of do a light explanation on that. But I will link a video down below to RC Worst, who I learned this from. They have a detailed video on this, and it's a lot better your explanation than I can give. So I'm just going to hook this up. Plus, I don't know that you'll really care if I explain it. We'll see. But again, I'll link it down below so you have it in the description, so you can look that up in detail if that's something you're looking to do. Otherwise, I'm just going to go ahead and hook this stuff up. Our floats set up for the most part. As you can see, we've got them into the pipe, and we've got 8 feet of pipe here that will run our floats down, and then we'll attach them. These are the weights that hold it. So it'll float down here, and then as it operates, it'll go up and down with the water flow. So we've got to go out and get this into the cistern, and then we will be ready to go and continue on with our plumbing. So we're working at it. We're getting closer and closer. So one thing I did as we're getting ready to do the well pump here is I had to find the 3/4 inch PVC that runs from the cistern all the way, or from the well to the cistern to here, which will in turn then connect to the electrical. So I went ahead and I stubbed that up. And then I can fill in this big hole that I've had here since I had the foundation. So I'll get that completed, and then it'll allow me to continue on with the electrical to the box. All right, we're out here on a cold spring day, and I'm getting ready to pull some 10-2 wire from the box for the breaker for the well all the way out. We're going to go 107 feet to the junction box down there at the well. The problem I had was it's kind of irritating with the wire, but the stuff is ultra expensive. The problem, it comes in 100-foot rolls, and again I need 107 feet, so I had to buy a 250-foot roll of the 10-2 underground wire, and that stuff is about almost $400 for that spool. So we'll get this pulled and we'll get it connected on the other end. All right, well, we got a control box mounted. I got to find some better solution for screwing that in, but we'll get that fully mounted, and then we got to do all of our plumbing down to up to it, so we can run our electrical lines. All right, we're going to see if we can get these floats down this 3-inch hole here. I'll start with the pumps. I'll get them in, and then we'll go from there with putting the pipe in. With the 2 sets of floats, the upper set of floats are designed for the well pump itself. So when the float is in the up position, it tells the float tells the motor over the pump to start pumping water. And then when it's in the down position, it shuts the pump off. The second float at the bottom is set for pump engagement, so that the pump doesn't run if there's a problem in the cistern. When that pump float is in the down position, it will shut the pump off entirely. So that's why we have 2 sets of floats in the system. All right, as you can see, we got the sensors down there. The floats down there. We got that capped, and now we need to put this junction box here. Has to go into place, and that'll run our wires up to that, and then out to the box there. Well, one thing that I'm doing is with these float lines, since I'm putting the PVC rather than do a standard pull line, which I have for the rest of the stuff, I've just been fishing this stuff through the pipe as I've been going. So we got to finish doing that, and then we've got to connect our upright here. All right, so we've got that. Now we just have to in a little bit. We still got to run a fish line out to the well. Finish the fish line out to the well. We got to finish that pipe, and then we'll bring that pull line through like we did here on this side. This side goes all the way to the house and to the breaker box. We still got to put in that connection there, but we've got everything pulled here. as far as the floats go, and then we just have to run our pull line and we'll be ready to go on from the well to the contactor. So we're making good progress all the way around. My ideas are working out. I decided to have a professional well pump installer come in to help me with this because my handling 40 feet of pipe with a pump on the end just wasn't adequate for my style.
Oh, that's a fat squatty little guy.
Right.
Last one we took out was like 5.5 feet long and only like 8 inches around. Heard that the box blade will be fine if we don't need to go below 4 inches.
Right.
That's my only problem is if we have to start taking chunks of rock out. I just don't know.
Anyway, what I did is I bypassed the float capacitor for right now, and I'm just working off the controller. I'm going to fire up the well itself and see if the well pump pumps into the cistern. So we'll go over here and turn it on and see what we get. Well, it's on, the pump's on, and I see some water turbulence. You can see some moving. So I think it's pumping. I'm just not quite sure. We'll have to watch it for a while and see what it does here. But I want to fill it up first. I don't know if you can see that bottom float, but I want that bottom float up so that I can then pump more water in, and then I'll hook up the actual floats. All right, so one of the last steps we have to do in our well install, we've got the control box already hooked up and wired to this capacitor. Now we have to take the float wires that we've got here, cut them down, and then we'll connect them to the actual capacitor in there, and then that will control the floats inside the cistern for water levels from the well pump to the cistern. So we'll get those hooked up. I created this small diagram of what we're doing with the coil. So L1 and L2 are the line in from the house, and L1, L2 at the bottom is from the well pump itself. And one thing we're going to do is we're going to run, since we've got a red, a white, and a black, and there's no neutral on this, we're going to cap off the black wire. Our reds will go up to the power supply, and the white will go on the side of the capacitor here. This connection makes it to where this is the final piece for the well pump to the cistern. It's a pretty significant piece as it controls both floats for the pump and then for the cistern itself. Once this is all hooked up and I've got everything coordinated on there how I want it, we should be able to start pumping water into the cistern. That solves half of our equation for the well and puts us one step closer to having water in the house, which is a big plus. But time is of the essence, so we're going to finish this up and get this project underway. All right, well, there you have it. We've got that wired together. Now we'll power it up and we'll let this fill, and we'll see where we're at and see if we can fill up the cistern. All right, well, we're back out here. We're going to open this thing up. It's pretty cool. I heard the pump running down at the other end. I don't know how hard this is to see, but we've got water all the way in there. That's pretty cool. It's full, and so that gets us where we need to be as far as water from the well to the cistern. The cistern is full. Like I said, we got our capacitor and our main control box in, and so we're good to go as far as the well goes to this point. Next big step is going to be putting in the under the house pumps. Still got some work to do there, but we're halfway there. Like I said, we've done the cistern install, we've done the well install, and now we'll turn underneath the house. Anyway, if you like this type of thing, please remember to like and subscribe and hit that bell for notifications when new videos are uploaded. And please make sure to leave some comments. There's been a lot of interest in the cistern and the well, so I'd love to get the comments on that and see what I can answer. Anyway, we'll see you next time, and thanks for watching.